Good morning, esteemed guests, two renowned speakers, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for nice introduction and also appointing me as a chair for this session, session 4, Army War College Symposium 2023. Today we have the innovative topic, leadership and decision making in complex operational environments. I will share some of points that I have just noted down before coming. And let's begin by acknowledging that this session is a paramount important to all of us in the present day. We live in a technology-driven world where information is at our fingertips. And the decisions we make today have a far-reaching consequences. We are navigate through this era. It is essential for us to recognize the significance of cultivating new generation with admirable attitude, practices, and values right from the beginning, setting the stage for the sustainable development of our global community. Our society is not only acknowledgeable, but also enriched with real-time information, thanks to the open environment provided by the technology. This visibility into complex operational environments necessitates a profound understanding of the dynamic at play. One striking observation is that leaders are born with different talents. Yet, they must continuously develop missing talents over the years. Because when you see the past leaders, that you can see they were born with their own talents. And some of them, the character and the discipline, and also they have to keep their integrity. And throughout the life, throughout the journey, throughout the experience, they gather the missing talents and they adapt the situation. So true leaders possess a clear vision, a guiding light in the turbulent sea of uncertainty. In today's landscape, information-driven decision-making processes are not just advantages, they are a necessity. Technology advancement have made strategic direction less apparent, demanding a proactive approach for leaders. Confidence remains the key feature of a leader, but it is synthesis of confidence with information and technological strategy that truly empower decision-making process. Leaders emphasize different facets, whether people or a task, at various decision-making levels. As we all know, there are many levels of leaders. Some are autocratic leaders, some are democratic leaders, others are in between. They are looking at two sides. They emphasize on either people or the task. But depending on the situation, take intermediate steps. However, as the technology continues to develop, leaders must incorporate information-driven decision-making process into their repertoire. In the modern era, a leader's failure rate of less than 5% is no longer luxury, but a basic requirement. Understanding the need for the continuous adaptation of the resilience. So we normally said that if you have 5% of mistakes that you did, you are not allowed because different levels of decisions you have to take. If you take a complete tree as a total decision making, body, you have to take sometime leave decisions, very quick decisions, and then you have to take branch decisions, then you have to take trunk or root decisions. But when you come to the trunk and root decisions, that will be affected your organization as a whole and as a country as a whole. So when you are taking decisions at the leaves or branch level, you can go like little bit your own way and give a quick decisions. But when it's come to the root level, that you need to think about what is the implication out of it and how the company affected that. And you have to take the collaborative approaches for that. So this is important for any level of the leadership. There is no room for failures in future, given the rapid advancement of technology. The accountability associated with leadership is a serious concern. Particularly in the face of failures, a leader's integrity becomes paramount during challenging times, as it is foundation upon which trust is built. One of the main aspects of a leader, you have to have a good integrity. And you have to build a trust on that. And discipline is one of the key aspects as a character to develop. The evolving landscape demands holistic approach to skills development, highlighting the equal importance of soft skills alongside hard skills for future generation. I don't like to call here it's a soft skills, I would say human skills. It's moreover. And you know what is hard skills that everybody has to go on. But this is very important to keep your trust and discipline and also consistency of yours. As the technology propels us forward at the unprecedented pace, sustainability consideration must not be left behind. Because we know that fourth generation, fifth generation, you can tell the generation-wise, the development, but we are optimizing the things that technologically, but we are missing one part. We are missing sustainability aspects. So it is important to look at the sustainability and the human values. Because once you are optimizing the things, you can do the things much better. But you have to think, for whom are we doing this? As the technology, it is the time to infuse human values into the approach to ensure the sustainability. As the relentless march of technology often neglect this crucial part. That's what we are facing today. And even in my field, we have 5G and we are going for 6G, but we are optimizing. We need more and more. But we have to think about the community. We have to think about sustainability. Without much going in details, I want to conclude. As leaders in the technology-driven world, we must adapt, learn, evolve. Our decisions should be driven by the information, guided by clear vision, and executed with the utmost integrity. This is very important. Let us not forget the importance of soft skills and human values in the face of advanced technology. Together, we can share a future where leadership thrives in the complex operational environment of our dynamic world. And this is some of the points I gathered for you to address today to start as a preamble. But without further, I would like to, there are two speakers today for us. You can ask questions at the end. And I would like to introduce the first speaker. I think everyone knows the renowned speaker, Rear Admiral Y.N. Jayaratne, RWP, RSP, USP, NDU, PSC. former Chief of Staff, Sri Lanka Navy, and Chief Hydrographer, International Consultant for United Nations. Let me little brief on him, this renowned personality. Rear Admiral Y.N. Jayaratne retired from Sri Lanka Navy in 2022. On reaching mandatory retirement age of 55 after illustrious battle decorated and unblemished career span over 35 years. At the time of his retirement, he was the Chief of Staff and the Chief Hydrographer of Navy. Concurrently, hold the appointment of the Joint Chief Hydrographer to the government. On retirement on his expertise, he is secured by the United Nations and is international consultant to the UNODC on undersea cables and maritime intelligence. He holds 2 master's degrees from University of California for Defense Studies 2001 and University of Goa, India for Hydrographic Survey 2003. He is International Hydrographic Organization's Category A qualified hydrographer with vast knowledge and experience on ocean and maritime matters. Marine science research is a regular visiting lecturer for think tanks, Staff College, and the National Defense College. Without further ado, I would like to invite him for this session, and also he is joining from the other end of this session, the Army War College in Buttala, and his topic, evolving a joint approach for decision making to enhance capabilities of military. It is over to you, sir. This is the very informational speech that everyone can listen, and it is over to you from the other end. So, Rear Admiral Y.N. Jayaratne retired.
Good morning, Chair. Can you hear me well?
Not really. Could you please little bit tune up?
Can you hear me well now?
Yes, if little more is better.
You need more noise here.
Right? Yes, more noise. Because our all present here, all the participants need that.
I suppose now the voice is very clear now.
Quite better. Very good. Please go ahead,
Right,
sir.
Right, Chair. Thank you very much for your introduction. And in Buttala, I am having 2 vacancies beside me, and it would been I would have been very delightful to have the chair and my co-speaker both here in Buttala. Nevertheless, I feel like a king here with 2 empty chairs beside me to address you. So let me share the screen. I am supposed that the screen is shared now.
So you have 25 minutes just to remind you, and 5 minutes before I will remind you to conclude your speech. Just to note it down because I know everyone knows this, so I didn't announce at the beginning. Sorry for that.
Right, it's not a chair. Thank you. Let me continue with my presentation. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much, the Commandant of War College, for inviting me. And I must mention Colonel Dhammika Jayaratne, who got me into got my commitment to this forum. Thank you, Dhammika. It is delightful to be here in person. And my presentation is made for the students of the War College. So I am particularly is looking at you eye to eye, and I'm fully aware that there's another audience in virtual joining me. So the topic I'm going to talk about is on the leadership and decision making. Before I start the presentation per se, I must say there was a question about the role of leadership in decision making. What is the connection? It is connected. Leadership is all about making decisions. There's no separation. And I'm sure when you look back into your own careers, think about your superiors, your leaders who were hesitant to take decisions. How were you feeling at that time? I'm sure in our respective careers, we have encountered these superiors, leaders who are not taking decisions. I have lived with them. So decision making is a part of your leadership. As a leader, you are supposed to make decisions. So let's talk about these things, especially in this 5th generation warfare. It is already happening, I would say. It is happening right beside you. So getting ready for the next war is your job. That is why you are here in the War College studying about it. Whether you are going to fight it or whether you are going to prevent it, we will see it. So come to the first slide. What is there to be learned from the wars and conflicts? So there are 3 lessons that I extracted from wars and conflict. The wars and conflicts are meant to spend money, and they will empty the government coffers and affect national economies. War is a money spending affair. Now, that is the reason why we need to have the best of leadership in the military. If the military lacks that leadership, it is the country who's going to pay for it. We have seen it. We have seen it in the history. We have seen it in the contemporary world, things that are happening around the world, and it's going to be the same in the future also. So you are here in the Army War College. It's to learn to fight a next war. So should you fight it? Yes, if needed, you will have to fight it. Or should you avoid fighting? The best way is to avoid it. Avoid the conflict. Avoid the conflict being taking place. Avoid the war being fighting. And you are here for learning these things. This is the part of the military profession. So learning to fight a war if needed and to avoid fighting a war by preventing it from taking place. Then thirdly, the next war needs leaders and managers at all levels. From the section command onward, everyone is a manager, everyone is a leader. So let's ensure that our subordinates are aware of it. Let's see that our subordinates become good managers. So at the end of the day, all our objectives are achieved. I generally would like to dwell on statistics. So this slide I picked up from visualcapitalist.com. Now this is a site that is famous for putting up statistics in a very illustrative formats. This is about the population of India, and where I am putting up my cursor is the population of Sri Lanka. So when you look at this image, you will see how the population is being spread out in this island nation. Having more population brings different security challenges. Having less population brings another set of different security challenges. And your job is to assess them, foresee them, get ready for them, plan for the next conflict, plan for the next war, how to fight it. With more people on one side, less people on one side. So these illustrative statistics will be aiding you in planning your next military move. So make use of these statistics. Look at the statistics. Statistics will lead you to many things and will give you a good plan. So what will be the characteristic of the next generation of warfare that is already happening around us? It will be of global interest, even a very small something. It will be of global interest because there will be media coverage, there will be opinions, there will be a various numerous number of opinion makers making up their views. So it becomes a global interest. So you will require to have a swift military action. Then you will be bombarded with constant change of directive, instructions, guidance. Your instruction will change the faster rate than you will imagine. So are you ready for it? So the media and social media is going to play a major part. They will, of course, bring you some information. And at the same time, this media and social media will make the public opinion, perception. You will have to live with these things. As a young officer, when I'm a young lieutenant, when we were sent for coordinate search in Trincomalee, we go there, do the coordinate search, sometimes get into a firefight, until we come back and report to our commanding officers. They were clueless of what had happened out over there. But today, when a young officer goes out and comes and report to his CO, the CO will know what had happened. The brigade commander will know more than that because there will be video clips, text messages about that officer. So the young officer may be telling something very true, what actually had happened on the ground. But are you ready to absorb it? Because you are already having a preconceived mindset about the incident based on the inputs you have through the social media means. Isn't it a challenge for you? It is a challenge. So if you don't trust your subordinates, the subordinate lose trust on you. So these are going to be your challenges. How are you going to cope up with these things? So it's going to be very dynamic, fast and very focused. We have seen the results of intended very swift military action dragging for years and years, Ukraine and Russia. So this will have severe burden on the economy. So the political masters will be looking for very surgical and precise military action. Look at the way the US took out Osama bin Laden in 2011. A surgical strike. So these will be the things that you need to study. If you are being, as a military officer, if you are being, the government expect you to execute a military operation, it has to be very fast, it has to be dynamic, and it will be very focused. So are you ready for it? So what are the other characteristics? There will be always applicability of human rights and humanitarian law. So how much your subordinates are aware of these things? It will be surely a urban and population-centric and economic-centric conflict. No longer we are going to fight wars in the jungles. So all the indicators in our island nations
මෙයාමට
point
කතා
out.
කරා මම කෝ ඔයාලට ලීව් එකක් දාලා යන්න කියන්නම් කියලා. ඒගොල්ලන්ගේ ඩ්‍රයිවර් කෙනෙක් ළඟදී ස්ටාෆ්
Please,
එකල් ඩ්‍රයිවර්
please
කෙනෙක්
mute your mic, please, all listeners. Thank you. Sorry for disturbing. Yeah, please start. Okay, please go ahead with the talk. We cannot hear right now. Your mic is muted. This is the online disturbances, but you have to take it because these are the challenges that we are facing. Sorry for that, but that's okay. Please, still we are not hearing you, please.
Okay, Chair.
Okay,
Let
thank
me
you.
check with
Now we
this,
are hearing.
Okay, right. So the next warfare will be definitely an urban terrain, and it will be a population-centric, and it will obviously will be economic-centric. And it will be communication-dependent. You will have to communicate more, and it will be technology-dependent. And it will be a very personalized command and control. We have seen these things are happening in elsewhere. A unit having individual communication facility with each member of that squad. That is the command and control we are looking at. So that means a lot of things to think about. Our soldiers are ready for it. Are they physically ready for it? Are they mentally ready for it? Are they professionally ready for it? And at the end of the day, remember that you will be on your own. The decision you make is yours. And you will be make liable and answerable for the decision you make. So remember, these are going to be the characteristic of the warfare we are looking at. So are you making your system ready for it? Since the student officers will be the commanding officers, who will be the workhorses of the army in their ground operations, are you making your system ready for it? Are your men and women are physically fit, professionally competent, psychologically stable to undertake these characteristics and the pressure and the demands? Physical fitness matters. All has to be, men and women, all has to be physically fit. Commanding officers has to be physically fit. Do they know the ground? Earlier, and I'm sure even today, you are depending on the ABMP, agriculture-based mapping project, the ABMP maps you are still using. But very little that map can do for you now because there are technology involved in it. So the ground and technology still dictate tactics and operational plans. So do they know the ground physically? Do you know the ground electronically? Because your smartphone is a tool for you. Before you go on to ground, Google Map will give you details about the ground. So have you studied it? So how you make it usable? How you make your men, your corporals, your sergeants, your subordinates get used to these things, study about these things before they go for some ground operations. Have you empowered them with the decision making? Do they know about the situational awareness? And most of all, the present generation, do they have the common sense? So engage with them, talk to them. When you go on this road from Buttala to Vellavaya, and if you take the left turn, you will be going to the plains. If you take the straight road or right, you will be going to the hill country. These dictates your ground. So you keep on looking left and right. There will be many things you will be learning. Let's understand, one of the hallmark of Field Marshal Fonseca is his in-depth knowledge on the ground. And that knowledge help us to steer for the victory on the ground. So ground dictates tactics. And to augment your knowledge, there's a tool, technological tool available for you. So use it wisely. So let me take some lessons from the Ukrainian war and the Gaza Strip. So these links I am presenting you today about how others are assessing and looking at these conflicts. What are the lessons for military leaders? Now in these Sunday Guardian articles, they talk about 10 lessons. The first one is improper selection of timing for the launch of the war. Second is that will of the people of the country that matters. Third, the third lesson is that a war has to be launched with full force and lethality. Strike first, strike hard. This is the dictum. Number 4, the fourth lesson is that all officers should read. In 1991, when General Kobbakadua decided to land at Vettalai Kearney in support of besieged Elephant Pass camp, we as young officers, we were wondering why he has taken that decision. After all, Vettalai Kearney is very featureless beach strip for us, for naval officers. But what we didn't know is that the history behind it. But General Kobbakadua knew the history. He knew that is the place where the French landed, and from there the French went into the hinterlands. And on the way they established 2 forts in relatively high ground in connecting Vettalai Kearney and the Elephant Pass. He knew that history, and he selected the same path to have his military campaign done. So it is the reading of history. So you people, your subordinates, young officers has to read a lot. Number 5, the 5th lesson is that as a war progresses, realistic aims must be reset. So there'll be continuous changes of tactics, aims, objectives, because that's the way it is. Number 6, the conventional wars will always remain a reality. So despite all the action, still the conventional force that matters. So are you having that force capability? 7th, current precarious geopolitical times. So geopolitical times matters. We've seen it in Gaza Strip. Number 9, drones and UAVs will make an important role in any war. So let's get ready for it. So for example, you are in an isolated camp, let's say of Chundikulam, all of a sudden you see a drone in your camp, just flying above your camp premises. What you will do? Will you be asking what to do, or just shoot it down? My advice is shoot it down. If it is not been informed, shoot it down. So quick decisions will be required. And 10, it is important to have a single point military advisor to the political leadership. Political leaders need to be constantly advised by the competent military personnel. So these are the lessons that the Sunday Guardians has put it up. Then there's a video clip, short video clip. I'll be not running the full video clip, but I want you to go through these things. What will be the lessons for modern warfare? Lesson 1. So here is an analyst. He's giving up certain lessons derived from the Ukrainian counteroffensive and how to work it out. So I suggest that you go through this video clip. When you type Ukrainian war, 5 lessons learned from the Ukrainian counteroffensive, you will go to this study this. This is about your training, how you make your subordinates ready for fight this complex war. Then let's move into Israel-Hamas war in Gaza Strip. This is from the RAND organization. It's a premier US think tanks. So they talk about lessons from Israel war in Gaza. So here's a list of things, and what is important is how the war is being analyzed by the world through digital platforms. Nothing is hidden over here. Every day, everything is tracked and monitored. So they analyze, you can see kind of a statistics and digital data that they have been poured into this paper. Strategic lessons, conflict hinge on perception of success. Reading the Middle East is difficult. Modern militaries must confront lawfare. Then what is that operational, tactical, and technological lessons?
You have
Decision-
another 4 minutes to finalize.
So go through these documents, and there are another 2 documents that I have listed out. And this video clip, I would like all of you to study about it. This is about Philippines in 2017, when the ISIS took control of a city called Marawi. What is important is how the Philippines army took 6 months for them to retake the city. Very complex operation. Still, you will see this Marawi battle it is available in the internet. Go through it. It's a classic example of how things are going to be. So what I learned in 1988, when I went to Britannia Royal Naval College, Dartmouth, it is 6 years after the Falklands, and the British Royal Navy has completely changed their leadership training. And they termed it as action-centered leadership. And after 38 years, I still carry that card on my pocket. This is the card, the same one. It's about how you build up your team, how you concentrate on individual, and improving individual, you improve the team, and through the team, you achieve the task. Are you ready for it? Are you doing it? Are you supporting and empowering the individual? You be the best judge. Then the military, how the Indian military is looking at it. This is an article from the Center of Land Warfare, and they have identified the challenges to Indian Army and young officers up to company commander level. The following observation may not occur in many units, but they are worry signals. So they talk about kind of things that are going to come up. So you might as well go through this document and see how they look at it, the complex situation that is going to come. See, over here, they talk about today's military leaders have a far greater challenge than ever before. You think we had a far tough time? I think you are going to have a tough time, not me. My time is over. So you better read these things and get ready, because there are many things that you require to do. So remember, the best maneuver is not to maneuver. I used to tell Fedora operators, when as a flotilla commander, when we had to fight the sea tigers, the best maneuver is not to maneuver. So the best decision is not to take a decision. But we are wearing this uniform not to do that. You are wearing this uniform to take a decision. Decision based on scant of information you have at that time. So based on that, are you ready to fight all alone? Or you want to fight it jointly? You want to fight it in a kind of a combined platform? Up to you. So do you see the value of jointness to fight the next war? It is in all angles, physical, technical, moral, every angle. So the picture I took up from the LinkedIn. What will be the skills that you need to develop? Your critical thinking, your creativity, your collaboration, and your communication. What is the point of having degrees and diplomas if you cannot think critically? What is the point of having degrees and diplomas if you cannot create or design something new for the situation? What is the point of having degrees and diplomas if you cannot collaborate? And what is the point of having degrees and diplomas if you cannot communicate well? So think about it, gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen. So these become skills that you require to do because our future is depending on you. So I expect you to make us proud. I expect you to make the military proud by taking the correct decisions and taking the correct actions. How? By having the knowledge. Acquire knowledge, use it wisely, ensure that you train your subordinates, and that will ensure that we meet the national interest of this island nation. With that, thank you very much.
Thank you very much for your profound and informative speech. And we will gather all the questions at the end of the sessions. Please, there are 2 chat boxes open, and also you can write it down. And at the end, I will give you, all of you, opportunity for ask questions from both the speakers. Let me introduce the second speaker for the day, the Major General Kulatunga, RWP, RSP, VSV, USP, PSC, Chief Field Engineer, Sri Lanka Army. Let me give a brief outline about him. Major General Kulatunga is a proud product of Royal College, Colombo. He enlisted in regular force of Sri Lanka Army on January 20th, 1989 as officer cadet. After completing basic military training at Sri Lanka Military Academy, Diatalava, he was commissioned as a second lieutenant post to the Corps of Sri Lanka Engineers on January 19th, 1991. During his illustrious career, General Kulatunga, who presently holds the appointment of Chief Field Engineer of Sri Lankan Army, has held many key command, staff, and instructor appointments. Some of the key appointments held by the senior officer are General Officer Commanding Engineering Division, General Officer Commanding 23 Infantry Division, Brigade Commander 522 and 232 Infantry Brigades, Commanding Officer 1 Field Engineer Regiment, Directorate of Research Concept and Doctrine HQ, Director Doctorate of Plans HQ, Colonel GS 22 Division, Colonel MS Branch HQ, Chief Instructor Sri Lankan Military Academy, and the Chief Instructor Sri Lanka School of Military Engineering. In addition to the above appointments mentioned above, Major General Kulatunga made substantial contribution to enhancing military and diplomatic relations throughout his 2-year terms as the Minister Counselor Defense at the Sri Lankan High Commission in Pakistan. In addition to his other noteworthy accomplishment, significant contributions were also made by him to pursuit of global peace while serving as a staff officer at the headquarters of the United Nations peacekeeping mission in Haiti. During his illustrious military career, he has followed many local and overseas training courses, programs, and visits. Significant amongst them is the Master of Art Strategic Security Studies at the Defense University in Washington, D.C., USA, from where he earned the distinction of Distinguished Graduate awarded to the top 10% of the graduating class. Having also acquired a Master of Science Defense Studies from University of California, he possesses an illustrious academic heritage. General Kulatunga is a decorated army officer who has received the Ranavikrama Padakkama and the Ranashura Padakkama for his valor in the face of enemy. He has also received Vishishta Seva Vibhushanaya and Uttama Seva Padakkama for his outstanding, distinguished, devoted, and immaculate service to the nation. General Kulatunga is also a keen sportsman who has received Army Defense Services and national colors for practical pistol shooting, and the most recent was the member of the Defense Services golf team that represented Sri Lanka at the World Military Games in California, USA. General Kulatunga is presently the chairman of the Sri Lankan Army Basketball Committee, the senior officer married to Mrs. Varuni Kulatunga and blessed with a daughter. So I would like to invite him. His topic is responsibilities of different stakeholders and enhancing capabilities to face complex environments. It's a current topic, and over to you for your presentation.
I hope the audience at Buttala can hear me. If I could get a response from Buttala to ensure that you all can...
Kindly acknowledge, please, from the Buttala.
We can
Sir,
hear you
hear
well.
you clearly, sir.
Respected Chair, ladies and gentlemen, very good morning to you. At the incept, I would like to extend my sincere gratitude to the Chair for introducing me to the audience, as well as the Commandant and the staff of the Army War College for giving me this opportunity to share my views with this esteemed forum. The topic I have been given is quite vast, but within the limited time frame that I've been given, I will try my level best to justice to the topic that I'll be speaking about. In an era which is defined by rapid technological advancements and geopolitical complexities, the landscape of warfare is undergoing a transformative shift. Navigating the future battlefield requires a comprehensive understanding of the responsibilities borne by military entities, the diverse stakeholders involved, and the relentless quest for enhanced military capabilities. Therefore, the aim of my presentation and the sequence are as shown on the screen. ladies and gentlemen, the stakeholders are either an individual, group, or organization that has an impact on the outcome of achieving the overall unified statement or the end state of a campaign. And some of these stakeholders are the government. The governments bear the primary responsibility of ensuring the security and the defense of nations. In the face of evolving military threats, it is imperative for governments to allocate sufficient resources, both financial and human, to maintain a robust and technologically advanced military. Additionally, governments must invest in diplomatic efforts to foster international cooperation and alliances aimed at creating a united front against common threats. The military forces are at the forefront of defending nations and must continuously adapt to the changing nature of warfare. This involves investing in training programs that enhance the skills of personnel in areas such as cyber warfare, asymmetrical warfare, and the use of advanced technologies. Additionally, the military must collaborate with other branches of government to ensure a comprehensive and coordinated response to potential threats. In an interconnected world, the international community also shares the responsibility of maintaining global peace and security. Multinational military exercises and joint operations can enhance the collective capabilities of nations to respond effectively to complex military threats. Diplomacy and conflict resolution mechanisms must be strengthened to prevent the escalation of tensions and promote peaceful resolutions. To face these challenges of a complex future military environment, stakeholders must focus on enhancing specific capabilities. One key area of focus would be to invest in research and development to stay ahead in areas like artificial intelligence, quantum computing, and cyber warfare. Secondly, it will be vital to implement training programs that simulate real-world scenarios and focus on adaptability, critical thinking, and collaboration. It will also be essential to focus on the development of comprehensive strategies that account for both traditional and unconventional threats, as well as the integration of emerging technologies. Consequently, the said factors will dictate the formation of clear ethical guidelines for the use of advanced technologies, ensuring responsible and humane conduct in the field of warfare. The future complexities of warfare are characterized by a confluence of factors that challenge traditional notions of conflict and redefine the nature of security. Hence, it is vital to comprehend on the multifaceted dimensions of future warfare, delving into the role of emerging technologies, the impact of asymmetric threats, and the evolving nature of global alliances. One of the primary drivers of future complexities in warfare is the rapid evolution of technology. The integration of artificial intelligence or AI, autonomous systems, and cyber capabilities has revolutionized the way nations approach military strategy and are becoming integral components of military operations. The future of warfare is characterized by an increase in asymmetric threats, where non-state actors and unconventional tactics challenge conventional military strategies. Terrorism, cyber attacks, and hybrid warfare present unique challenges that will blur the lines between war and peace. The geopolitical landscape is in a state of fluidity, with shifting alliances and power dynamics redefining the traditional notions of strategic partnerships. The rise of new global powers, regional conflicts, and the resurgence of great power competition contribute to the complexity of future warfare. Evolving global alliances and dynamics emphasize the importance of diplomacy, cooperation, and international institutions in addressing the multifaceted challenges of the 21st century. Navigating this shifting landscape requires a nuanced understanding of the interplay between technology, geopolitics, and societal factors as nations strive to secure a more stable and peaceful future. In contemporary warfare, information is no longer just a tool. It is a strategic asset. The ability to collect, process, and disseminate timely and accurate information is crucial for military decision-making. Advanced technologies such as artificial intelligence, machine learning, and big data analytics have revolutionized the way nations gather and utilize information. Moreover, the advent of cyberspace as a domain of warfare has elevated the importance of information warfare. Nations are increasingly investing in offensive and defensive cyber capabilities to gain a competitive edge in the digital realm. The ability to manipulate information has become a potent weapon, enabling nations to influence public opinion, destabilize governments, and undermine the cohesion of opposing forces. However, human intelligence remains a critical component of intelligence gathering. As technology advances, the fusion of human intelligence with cutting-edge technologies creates a synergy that enhances the effectiveness of intelligence agencies. In future warfare, the speed of decision-making will be always a very decisive factor. Artificial intelligence algorithms assist military commanders by processing vast amounts of data in real time, offering insights and predictions that aid in strategic planning and tactical execution. As we look ahead, the synergy between human intelligence, technological innovation, and strategic decision-making will be the linchpin of success on the modern battlefield. The nations that master this integration will gain a pronounced advantage in dominating the physical domains of warfare. The complex nature of contemporary security challenges demands seamless coordination and collaboration among diverse military branches and allied nations. As technology continues to advance and threats become more multifaceted, the ability of military forces to operate cohesively across different domains is crucial for achieving strategic objectives. Interoperability facilitates the efficient functioning of military forces by enabling seamless communication and coordination between various components of the armed services. In a future battlefield scenario where rapid decision-making is essential, the ability of different branches such as the Army, Navy, Air Force, and cyber units to share real-time information will become a force multiplier. The nature of future warfare is likely to be characterized by diverse and unpredictable threats, ranging from conventional conflicts to asymmetric warfare and cyber threats. Interoperability allows military forces to adapt rapidly to changing circumstances by combining the strengths of different branches and integrating their capabilities. Interoperability not only enhances the effectiveness of military operations, but also maximizes the utilization of limited resources. In an era of budget constraints and evolving geopolitical priorities, the collaborative use of assets such as intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance capabilities become essential. Interoperability extends beyond national borders to fostering strong alliances and partnerships among nations. In a world where threats often transcend geopolitical boundaries, the ability of allied forces to operate flawlessly together strengthens collective security. The force generation and organizational structure of a military play a crucial role in ensuring the defense and security of a nation. As the global security landscape continues to evolve, military forces must remain vigilant in refining their force generation processes and organizational structures to meet the demands of the 21st century. The recruitment of qualified individuals to serve in the military is fundamental in the force generation process. This includes rigorous screening to identify individuals with the necessary physical, mental, and moral attitudes. Training is a continuous and evolving process designed to enhance the skills and capabilities of military personnel. The force generation process includes the acquisition and maintenance of modern and effective military equipment. This involves strategic planning to ensure that the military has access to cutting-edge technology to maintain a competitive edge. Military planners must engage in long-term strategic planning to determine force requirements based on geopolitical considerations, threat assessments, and national security policies. The organizational structure of a military is designed to facilitate efficient command and control, resource management, and operational effectiveness. Different nations may adopt variations of organizational structures based on their specific needs, size, and geopolitical considerations. Joint operations involve the collaboration of different military branches to achieve a common objective. This requires a flexible organizational structure that facilitates interoperability and seamless communication between branches. Military organizations often include specialized units for specific tasks, such as special operations, cyber warfare, and intelligence gathering. These units are organized based on the unique skills and expertise required for their missions. Coming to the legal considerations and challenges that we will face in the future. Predicting the exact legal challenges of future military environments will be challenging, as it depends on various geopolitical, technological, and social factors. However, we can identify some potential legal challenges that may arise in complex future military environments. The development and deployment of autonomous weapon systems and artificial intelligence in military operations raise legal questions regarding accountability, responsibility, and compliance with international humanitarian law. Issues such as the distinction between combatants and civilians, proportionality, and the ability to control and predict the actions of autonomous systems may need clarification. As cyber capabilities become more integral to military operations, legal frameworks must adapt to address issues such as the definition of cyber warfare, attribution of cyber attacks, and appropriate responses. Advances in biotechnology and chemistry raise concerns about the potential development and use of new forms of biological and chemical weapons. Legal frameworks for the prohibition and control of such weapons may need to be strengthened, and mechanisms for verification and enforcement may need enhancement. Military operations increasingly involve coordination across multiple domains, including land, sea, air, and cyberspace. Legal challenges may arise in terms of jurisdiction, command and control, and the application of international law across diverse domains. Social media. The influence of social media on future warfare is complex and a multifaceted topic. Social media platforms have become integral parts of modern communication, and their impact on various aspects of society, including warfare, is significant. Issues such as privacy, freedom of expression, and the potential for civilian harm must be carefully considered as nations navigate the evolving landscape of information warfare. Addressing these legal challenges will require collaboration among states, international organizations, legal scholars, and other stakeholders to update existing legal frameworks and develop new norms that are applicable to the evolving nature of warfare. Additionally, the ethical contemplations associated with challenges should be considered to ensure that military actions are conducted in a manner consistent with human rights and international law. We will now move on to see what holds in the future for Sri Lanka. Since ancient times, Sri Lanka, a small island in the Indian Ocean region, has captivated global powers with its strategic location. Currently, the shift from a US-centered to an Asian-centered world order has intensified the great power rivalry between the United States and China for global hegemony. As an island state situated close to strategic sea lines of communication, Sri Lanka's role as a facility and service hub in the Indian Ocean region has significantly enhanced the geopolitical significance. In addition to China and the United States, other regional and international powers such as Russia, Pakistan, Japan, and India have recognized the strategic importance of Sri Lanka in ensuring stability in the Indian Ocean region. However, due to the COVID-19 pandemic, coupled with the recent economic crisis and the regression of strategic maneuverability, Sri Lanka faces dilemmas in its foreign policy and strategic decision-making. Maintaining the long-standing non-aligned policy, restructuring debt, seeking global assistance to address the economic crisis, and pursuing a balanced foreign policy are the main challenges. Today, Sri Lanka finds itself at a critical juncture. The strategic significance and economic vulnerabilities has triggered a power struggle among the major Indo-Pacific powers to gain greater control over Sri Lanka's geopolitical resources, including ports and economic corridors. Thus, Sri Lanka must navigate the delicate balance between appeasing competing powers and safeguarding its sovereignty and independence. However, as this approach comes with risks and costs, balancing economic benefits with strategic autonomy will be paramount. Therefore, it is vital that Sri Lanka's military components transform rapidly to address the new dynamics of future warfare and must carefully navigate the complexities of the Indo-Pacific power dynamics while safeguarding its natural or national sovereignty. In a rapidly evolving global landscape, Sri Lanka must grapple with a combination of traditional and emerging threats that necessitate a comprehensive and adaptive security strategy. Sri Lanka has experienced ethnic and religious tensions in the past, notably during the civil war that lasted for nearly 3 decades. Although the conflict officially ended in 2009, there are still underlying grievances that require careful attention. Future security challenges may emerge if we fail to address the root causes of these tensions, risking renewed violence and instability. The global threat of terrorism continues to evolve, and Sri Lanka is not immune to this phenomenon. The Easter Sunday bombings in 2019 highlighted the vulnerability of the country to extremist ideologies. Future security measures must include intelligence sharing, counter-radicalization programs, and international cooperation to mitigate the risk of terrorist activities. Sri Lanka's strategic geographical location makes it a crucial player in maritime security too. The increasing incidence of piracy, illegal fishing, and the potential for maritime terrorism pose significant challenges. Strengthening naval capabilities, enhancing regional cooperation, and adapting advanced surveillance technologies will be essential to safeguard Sri Lanka's maritime interest. As the country embraces digitalization and information technology, the risk of cyber threats grows. Cyber attacks targeting critical infrastructure, financial systems, and sensitive data pose a serious challenge to national security. Sri Lanka must invest in robust cybersecurity measures, foster a skilled workforce, and collaborate with international partners to stay ahead of evolving cyber threats. Sri Lanka is increasingly vulnerable to the impacts of climate change, including rising sea levels, extreme weather events, and natural disasters. These environmental challenges not only threaten lives and livelihoods, but also have security implications. Developing resilient infrastructure, early warning systems, and effective disaster response mechanisms are crucial for mitigating the security risks associated with climate change. Economic stability is fundamental to national security. Challenges such as high unemployment, income inequality, and external economic pressure can undermine the country's overall security. Sustainable economic development policies, investment in education and skills training, and diversification of the economy will be essential to ensure long-term economic security. The perception of social uprising as a threat to national security is complex and often a debated topic. Different governments and societies may have varying perspectives on this issue. However, it is important to note that if social uprisings gradually resolve to violence as a tool, it will pose a threat to national security. While striking a balance between maintaining order and addressing the underlying issues is crucial, the Sri Lankan military should have a robust mechanism to deal with such situations. This factor can be social media. This factor can be a breeding ground for the spread of false information and propaganda. Malicious actors, whether foreign or domestic, can use these platforms to disseminate misleading or divisive content, potentially influencing public opinion and social stability. Extremist groups may exploit these platforms to disseminate their ideologies, connect with potential recruits, and coordinate activities. The challenge lies with the Sri Lankan military in striking a balance between leveraging the benefits of social media and mitigating the risks it poses to national security. Sri Lanka's future security challenges are multifaceted, requiring a holistic and forward-looking approach. International cooperation, effective intelligence sharing, and investments in technology and human resources will play pivotal roles in navigating the complexities of the security landscape. By adapting a proactive and adaptive strategy, Sri Lanka can aspire to not only overcome its security challenges, but also emerge as a stable and prosperous nation in the years to come. In conclusion, with global and regional balance of power in a state of strategic flux, competition, rivalry, and conflict, whether violent or otherwise, are again taking center stage. Further, driven by technological innovation, there will be changes in tactics, strategies, and mediums of war. Militaries around the world, policymakers and strategists are confronted with enormous challenges driven by this transformation. Issues such as attribution and deniability pose additional challenges in arriving at suitable policy responses and dispensing justice. These challenges are expected to become more complex as states aim to devise new ways of leveraging technological change to wage war. Understanding war has been the main preoccupation of nations. The primordial desire of humankind to dominate is achieved through a victory in war. The historical and contemporary understanding of war is of using the military as an instrument of national power to destroy the enemy's capacity to resist. Underlying all other objectives of war is the inherent human urge to become the hegemon in group-based social hierarchies. The threat of competition must be eliminated to retain hegemony, and this leads to war. War is a play of offense and defense, one imposing its will on the other and the other defying to submit. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Major General Kulatunga. And it is now open for the questions. And I have received several questions. And I would like to directly get into the questions and answered by two speakers. One from Buttala, Army War College, Riyadh Biral Y.N. Jayaratna, and here Army Headquarters, the Major General Kulatunga. So there's one question for both of speakers. I would like to ask that first. This is from the WhatsApp group. Based on your narration and experience, what strategy should Sri Lanka adopt to develop a national strategy or legal regime addressing fifth generation warfare, ensuring effective countermeasures against imminent threats in the future. And this is given by Colonel Janak Ranavira. I think one of you can start answering to the question. I hope this is clear for you. Rear Admiral Y.N. Jayaratne, you can start with, since we are here, we can answer afterwards.
Okay, thank you, Chair. Can you hear me?
Yes, yes, sure.
Okay, Chair, I think that question was raised for the last session. So I rather would skip it and go to that series of questions that has been shared among the speakers by the students. So I would rather address those two questions that remains within our session. One of the question was about how to enhance a balance, enhancing a balanced mechanism for leadership and decision making. Well, my answer is it is embedded. You cannot differentiate, you cannot make a balanced mechanism because leadership is all about decision making, as I narrated at the beginning of my presentation. Then there was another question on how fifth generation warfare impact the economic stability. Well, fifth generation warfare is looking to destabilize the economic stability. It is one of the focus of it, one of the purpose of it. So let's look at our contemporary world. Why is that in 2005, US Department of Defense, when they tasked their consultations to Booz Allen Hamilton, and Booz Allen Hamilton came up with a report for the State Department telling about this Indo-Pacific, and they coined a word called string of pearls. So the whole study was based on the economies. And when this was taken up at the policy at the State Department, when they came up with the Indo-Pacific, it is looking at the economies. And in response to that, in 2013, the Chinese came up with their version of it, the BRI, Belt and Road Initiative. It is looking at the economies. And very recently, the India, UAE, and Europe corridor, it is looking at economy. And when you're talking about the next generation of warfare, this is all about having the impact on others' economy. And that is why I emphasize on having strong military leadership. So I suggest all the audience to watch the new movie on General Manekshaw, Field Marshal Manekshaw, the Sam Bahadur. Now this is a classic example of military advice in the political leadership. What to do, what correct decision to take. Otherwise, it is the country's economy that is been at risk or put into a jeopardized position. Then there was another question, if the chair, if you permit me.
Yes, yes, please go ahead, no problem.
Yeah. There was another question of how do you handle mistakes? So my advice to you is don't kill the messenger. Just because your subordinate brings the bad news, don't kill him. You are the boss. You listen to it. So as I said, my example about coordinate search, that's a good example. So you listen to him and look at all the periphery or background information, and then you make a decision. So subordinates will make mistakes. Don't worry about it. They are bound to do that. Otherwise, they will never learn. It is the senior's job to tolerate and correct them. And at the same time ensure that they don't make mistake. How? By empowering them with knowledge, experience, and the opportunities. So my suggestion is learn to handle situations. You never know what kind of situation you will be required to handle. In 2004, on 26th of December, I was the staff officer on duty at the Joint Operation Headquarters when tsunami struck. Fortunately, I have studied tsunami as part of my MSc on hydrography. So I was able to put all the details for Chief of Defense Staff when he come to the operation room. This is what had happened, and this is how it's going to happen, and this is what we need to do, and these are the best recommendations. So you will never know how and what kind of a situation you will be facing up with. So be ready to handle the situations. I will give the floor back to the chair.
Thank you.
I don't see any new questions that has coming up. Please ask questions. The whole forum is what I am investing here, spending my time and my resources to come over here and engaging you is to get you to ask me questions. If you don't ask questions, what the point we are investing on you? So Chair, back to you, please.
Thank you very much, and your commitment as well. We highly appreciate all the time you are there and to answer all the questions and guiding our young, dynamic personalities. So I will ask one question from, okay, that General Kulathunga also like to comment on the same questions. So over to you.
Thank you very much, Chair. And just to elaborate on the first question that was raised, which was taken by Admiral Y and Jayaratna also, on the interconnectivity between leadership and decision-making. I think Admiral Y amply covered it, but here what I want to emphasize is, as I mentioned during my presentation, in today's warfare, which moves at an extremely rapid pace, one of the key factors or decisive factors would be the speed of making decisions as leaders. And for this, in today's warfare, it is essential that the leader has at his or her disposal all the available tools to make the decision-making process as quick as possible. And as I said, so the speed of decision-making is going to be a decisive factor. So as leaders, as young budding leaders who are seated here, who are seated in Buttala, you need to keep abreast of these tools. You need to be aware of what these tools are. And you need to be aware of how to utilize these tools to assist in your decision-making process. So since we are talking about fifth generation warfare, which is, as all speakers have already emphasized, of information and perception, it is necessary that you use these tools to have the necessary information in real time to enable you to take the right decisions to lead your men in whatever domain of warfare. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And before going to these written questions, I would like to ask from the audience, from both sides, do you have any questions to be clarified from both the speakers? Please, it is time for you. And also audience from Buttala as well.
Yeah, Chair, you can very well guarantee that I will be taking charge over here, I guess.
That's very good, really. That's, yeah. You are at the location, so you can handle that part. I will handle here. Thank you. Thank you for you.
Sir, good morning, sir. I'm Major Arita Pranando from JCC course. Sir, my question is, still we are having a traditional military structure, which where we teach the most of the theories and our education system based on the third generation warfare. And to make effective decisions, we need certain educations with regard to the, now as example, we need the cyber literacy. Now most of the middle grade officers, they don't have cyber literacy, and they don't have any education on advanced technologies. So why don't we change this military structure as per the new generation of warfare?
So,
Chair, you want me to answer him here
Yes.
from?
yes.
Okay, right. Thank you very much. I am impressed, young man, for raising the question and saving the class, I guess. Well, what further education do you need? My suggestion is that you have been given this traditional military training. It is the basis. That basis is required. So without traditional military training, what we follow in this military academy and even in war college and even in staff college, this is required. So we expect you to go beyond that. Now, this is a matter of going beyond it. So in that case, I will give you some practical solutions. If you keep on engaging your subordinates, your staff, irrespective of whether it is a workshop, whether it is office, whether it is a platoon, you engage men, right? Let's take an example. You get all your platoon and draw their smartphones and ask them to use it, let's say for location sharing. That is cybersecurity. So when you engage with them, you will also learn and they will also learn. They will also learn how to protect their smartphone, how to share their location only with the person he's intended with. You will come to know how to use the technology. So there will be things that you will not know. So you will have to explore that. So you have the internet, you have your subordinates, your peers, ask them. So I would say this is the best education. The best form of welfare for military is the training. More you engage in training, you will learn things that you will never learn even in a university. So use it. It is up to your imagination. That is why, and that slide I pointed out, the creativity and your ability to think new matters. So when you do these things, you will see that your people will start, your staff will, your platoon, your staff, your subordinates, they will learn a lot. You will learn a lot. And you will be learning about cybersecurity. You will be learning about how to protect your smartphone, what not to do and what to do with it. So these things start and they don't require any directive from the Army headquarters. It doesn't require any directive from the due command. The solutions are with you, gentlemen, ladies. These solutions are within you, your capacity to do. Do it. That is why we are investing on you. I don't intend to kill your initiative to ask further questions, but see, what I want to point out is that go for it. Do not be constrained by assumptions. Right? For example, how many of you, now these days, all our paychecks pays straight away going to the banks. How many of you has start individually interview your men or women or your staff individually on their paycheck, how they spend their money? How many of you has done it for your own officers? how much of loan that you have, what are your liabilities, what is your income, how did you spend your money, what is the savings you are making. Have you done it? These are the solutions within us. This is all about our own cyber security. This is all about our financial security. This is all about our organizational security. And that doesn't need any directive from the Army headquarters. Be imaginative. How many of you can remember your commissioning certificate? Your commissioning certificate have 3 paragraphs. On the last paragraph, ඔබගේ රාජපාක්ෂික භාවයද සුවිශේෂී නිර්භීතතාවය සහ blah blah something ඔබේ යටතේ සිටින්නන් පුහුණු කර විනය හික්මනේ යොදවා කටයුතු කිරීම බලාපොරොත්තු වනු ලැබේ. So have a look at these wordings in your commissioning certificate. Are you living up to the virtues of this commissioning certificate? You see, we have so much of data and so much of things, and we are missing the small things that are relevant to us. So this is all about going back to basics. And through that, you will see that your own organization, your own office, cyber security or 5th generation preparation, everything is fulfilled. Certain things doesn't need millions of dollars to invest because the solutions are with you. Shivant, over to you, please.
Thank you, sir. To answer that question, Admiral Wayan gave a more practical answer, whereas I would try to give a more theoretical answer. Now, what, ladies and gentlemen, what you need to understand is, though we are talking about 5th generation warfare, this basically, we are talking about additional domain in the nature of warfare. The domains of land, sea and air has not been taken away when we talk about 5th generation warfare. It is just that there's additional domain, which is cyber warfare. So you need to learn your basics to fight the battles on the domains of land, sea and air. And cyber has only increased the complexity of that warfare. You can't take it in isolation. You can't take the domain of land warfare or air warfare or naval warfare in isolation. Cyber warfare has come over and above it and is relevant to all domains now. When it comes to gathering of information, when it comes to targeting, when it comes to decision making. So it's just an additional domain. So you can't say that, okay, why don't we move away from learning about the basics of how to fight on ground and learn only about cyber warfare? But who is going to fight on ground if you all try to only counter what is done in the cyber domain? So please understand that when we talk about 5th generation, you can't talk about it in isolation. It is correlated. And we're talking about all these domains together. So you need to learn your basics of how to fight your land battles whilst enhancing your knowledge on the aspect of cyber, which I think your generation, more than us, are very aware of. So yeah, I think that's my answer.
Thank you very much. And from the audience, again, any questions from both the speakers, please?
I'll be expecting a question from this side, I guess.
We are
Sir, good
also-
afternoon. Good afternoon, sir. I am Major Kong from Senior Command Course. Decision making is the most important point to make good leaders. So correct information make good leaders, and wrong information give the bad decision in the bad leaders. So my question is, how leaders can make better decisions in multiple perception and conflicting interests for environment?
Well, there will never be enough information for you to make a correct decision. There's a term called informed decision making. What do you mean by informed decision making is that you get as much as possible information for you to make the correct assumption and make a decision. But in the military circle, in military scenarios, this is never is going to happen. It has never been had happened. It is never going to be happening also. So you will have to have a what is available to you, and through that make your own assessment and make a decision. I suggest that you have a look at a couple of movies. One thing is The Iron Lady. This is 2011 movie about how Margaret Thatcher handled the Falklands War and how she made decisions. There's a video clip about when she went to the war room, the Whitehall, the Navy briefed that General Belgrano of the Argentinian Navy is carrying exocet missiles and is over there, and they've been tracked by US, the British submarine Conqueror. And the Navy insists that they attack and sink General Belgrano. But General Belgrano's ship is moving away from the scenario towards the land. So the cabinet of ministers telling, no, it is moving away. So it is not a threat. But the Navy Admiral Sandalwood insists that a ship can turn at any time. And the cabinet of ministers say that if we do that, it will be an escalation and we will be seen as aggressors. So the Navy say that if there's escalation of war, it is better that we start it. That is the military. That is the decision. So after getting all these things, Margaret Thatcher evaluate and give the final word, sink it. And that changed the entire warfare in South Atlantic in 1982. After General Belgrano was torpedoed and sunk, the Argentinian Navy never came out to fight. It was the Argentinian Air Force that keep on fighting. So these are the tremendous decisions that will change the entire spectrum of activities. Right now in Gaza, it is not an easy thing for Israel army with all this technology to move. So they are taking every precautions, individual control of a soldier. So each soldier's movement is being tracked, monitored, directed, and communicated to ensure that soldier remain safe. So these are the decisions. So you will be compelled to take that decision one day. So be ready for it, mentally, professionally, and psychologically. Because after all, decision making is a very lonely affair. Right? How you make the right decisions? By taking bad decisions. So don't worry about taking bad decisions, as long as it doesn't cost others' life. In your personal life, at your home, you will make decisions. You will be required to make decisions. So look at all the factors, figures, statistics, and most importantly, speak to your wife. Get her opinion. She will know better than you. Take the decision. So these are things that are in our life. See, we talk about command and control. Talk to your men. Command and control. Where do we learn the command and control first? At home. When father is in command, mother is in control. So as long as mother-father combination work well, the command and control of that household is good. If there's a conflict between the command and control, father and mother, there'll be always issues. It happened in your own eyesight. I mean, you have experienced that. So it is the same thing that happens in a different format in your camp, in your platoon, in your office. So practice it. Over to you, Shravant.
Thank you, sir. You make me kind of lost for words with your examples. And I think my wife is also watching this online, so I'm not going to further comment on what you said. But I would like to pick on two words that was used by the officer who asked this question. He said, correct information and wrong information. Now, you all are students at the War College, and then you all learn about IPB processes. And what are you doing here? You are gathering all the available information, filtering it, analyzing it. These are command responsibilities, staff responsibilities, to ensure that you convert all the information available into viable intelligence before you take a decision. So at command level, you can't talk about having wrong information and correct information. I don't think I will agree on that. You will have information, you will get various information, but your decision making will be supported by this entire process. For example, the IPB process which you learn. And once you take the decision, this information should have been through staff responsibilities, through command responsibilities, filtered, analyzed, and made into intelligence that is going to support your decision making. So I'm not going to agree or comment further on this thing of wrong information and correct information. I think the DSS, the CIA, the SI also will agree with me.
Thank you very much, both the speakers. And I would like to have one question from the headquarters as well. So one open questions at least from this side.
Sir,
Yes,
good morning, sir. I am Major Konar from Direct. Adversary, they are using it as a tool. So my question is, as a leaders, how to influence the perceptions of the our subordinate, because they all are also using the social media platforms and the media, and the disinformation and misinformation are available on those platforms. So my question is, how we what are the guidelines that you can give to handle those situations, sir?
I would like to put this question first to General Kulutunga and then after Rear Admiral Y.N. Jayarath.
Thank you very much for that question. I think it is extremely pertinent in today's day and age where we are experiencing this firsthand. And even during the past, when there were social uprisings, this was a key area of concern of misinformation that is getting filtered to the troops through social media, which is openly available. Now, this again is a responsibility of a leader. I'm glad that you used the word leader in your question. It is a leadership responsibility to ensure that your troops are kept informed of the reality. That is your responsibility. You are in command, you are their leader, you need to be able to filter the misinformation that is being fed to your troops through the social media by malicious parties. We always, as second lieutenants, when you were cadets, we always, one of the basic things that we tell our students or we tell our juniors is communicate with your troops, talk to them, tell them what's going on, keep them in the picture. Same thing applies here. You need to be informed first. You need to be informed of the realities on ground. You need to be aware of the misinformation that is filtering in. And you have to speak to your troops. As I said in my previous answer also, don't get carried away with this term of fifth generation warfare where it is cyber and a domain that is not seen. As a leader, that physical aspect, that personal aspect is what is going to matter. Because as again said by many speakers, you mentioned it in your question, it is about information and perception. So it is a leader's responsibility to ensure that your troops are kept informed of the reality. I hope I've answered your question.
Riyad Miral, Y and Jairatna, do you have anything to be added?
Yes, I'm very glad that this question was raised about perception. You see, you are not me. You are in a very precarious situation because the public perception on military is not that good. The way the military was used for last 2 years, it has impacted us a lot. But remember that we cannot afford to have a weaker military. And military cannot sustain without public support. So perception matters. So what is the solution for that? Engage. Engage with your troops, engage with public, and through that, you will be able to ensure that the perception remains favorable to you. I'll give a good example. I cannot stop thinking about one personality that I have met as a middle grade officer in Maduroya, Colonel J.V. Fernando. I have seen that he always carry his pack. He never give that pack to his buddy. And even today, I carry my bag. So imagine the situation, you go to the bank for your personal work, and someone is carrying those documents for you. How many eyes will be on you? You never know how many eyes are on you. And all these eyes will be making a decision on you, decision on your military, decision on the organization. And this is perception. So if you want to change the perception, yes, certain part is on technology, but I would say most part is with you. So engage, speak to people, speak to the school children, A-level classes, O-level classes, speak to PHI, speak to the midwife, Vinnabu Mata. So there'll be many, if you imagine, there'll be many avenues available for you to change the public perception on favor of you. Use this. You don't need to rely on technology for those things. So the people will be with you. Their perception, irrespective of what the social media say, irrespective of what the YouTube say, the people will know what the reality is. So have that. This is fifth generation warfare. And for that, you don't need any technology. It is just instinct, human approach, empathy. These are the things that is required. So I would say that I would conclude. So be professional on your own field and be a strength to your command. And this country is making a huge investment on you. And as a retired military officer, I'm depending on you. So thank you very much, Chair. Over to you.
Thank you very much. If you don't have any other questions, I would like to wind up giving brief idea. Now you have gathered a lot of information, a lot of knowledge, and you ask questions. I think Riyad Miral, Y and Jairat talk about how to develop a character under the current technological era, and also on the other hand, the technology, how we can use. There are numerous ideas about how to use big data and AI technologies for your decision-making process, because data science become now in general practice to use everywhere. And today data, we don't gather the data, we make the information wherever it is required, and the time it is required, you have those information. And these are the calculated knowledge that presented to you and the time it is required. Therefore, all these new technologies, we have to use them. We have to use them to go ahead with the critical thinking. And the main aspect, what we are missing is a communication with our own group or team. Once you have a communication and you build a trust, this is very important when you are handling a team. Because when you have the trust and integrity, you are on the way to success. These are the two main pillars that you have to keep in. Of course, automatically discipline coming into your character. So your commitment together with this, I think both of renowned speakers, they have given you plenty of informations and guidance and what is the practicality, what you have to do. And they are willing to give their own ideas. Thing is, you have to ask the question and invoke them and get them talk and get their experience. This is the precious time. Thank you very much. All of you did a great job in asking very good questions, as well as both the speakers. I really appreciate your presentations and your guidance to our new generations. And thank you very much, both of you, Riyad Biral, retired Y.N. Charatna, and also the Major General Kulatunga. Thank you very much for your both profound speech. Thank you. And
Ladies and gentlemen, I hope that you all were able to gather new knowledge on a particular subject area. And it was also very informative and qualitative discussion on leadership and decision making in complex operational environment.
So, on behalf of the Commandant and the staff of the IVO College, we would like to extend our sincere gratitudes and thanks to the session chair, Professor Tushar Lanka Veervardhana, the Dean of the Engineering Faculty of General Service, John Kothalawa Defence University.
Rear Admiral Y.N. Jayaratna retired, RWP, RSP, USP, and UPSC. And Major General S.A. Kulatunga, RWP, RSP, VSV, USP, PSC.
For sharing their valuable thoughts and experience in the fields of leadership and decision making in complex operational environment.
Now, I would like to respectfully invite the Chief Instructor of the Army War College, Colonel M.D.S.N. Karunaratna, PSC, to present the certificates and the mementos as token of appreciation to the session chair and the speaker. Now, I respectfully invite the session chair, Professor Tushara Lanka Veervardhana, to receive the memento and the certificate. Thank you, sir.
Now let me respectfully invite Major General S.A. Kulatunga, RWP, RSP, VSP, USP, PSC to receive the memento and the certificate. Thank you, sir.
Now, I would like to respectfully invite the Commandant of the Army War College, Major General UK DDP Udugama, RWP, RSP, USP, and DCPSC, to present the memento and the certificate to the speaker from the Army War College. Let me now respectfully invite Rear Admiral Y.N. Jayaratna, retired RWP, RSP, USP, and UPSC, to receive the memento and the certificate. Thank you, sir.
Now with that, we are going to wind up the session for the lunch.
May I kindly request all participants to join back for the final session of Army War College Symposium by 13:25 hours.
Ladies and gentlemen, please note that all virtual participants to log in back 15 minutes before the commencement of the next session.
The final session will be started sharp at 13:30 hours. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.